Hello and welcome everyone to part of the preview series for the British Masters Championships. I'm joined by the founders, Emma and Mandy Dean, and we're going to learn more about the British Masters Championship, and then we'll be also interviewing down the line some of the Masters athletes that have taken it on in the past or planning to take it on this year. But before we do that, we want to learn more about the competition itself. So I'm going to head over now to interview the founders. So we have Mandy Dean. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And also we're joined by your daughter, Emma. Emma, how are you?
Hi, Jason. I'm good, thank you.
So we're going to be talking today about the British Masters Championships. For anyone that's just come along because maybe they've seen the word Masters or British or Championship, and they're not 100% sure what these words mean when they're all added together, what is the British Masters Championships?
Okay, so this year, because it changes each year at the moment, this year, a British Masters Championships is an online qualifier competition. And then the top athletes from that online qualifier will be invited through to a in-person finals in September. And that's going to be at CrossFit Southampton. So yeah, we've got age divisions, which I'm sure we'll go into. And yeah, I think that's about it.
So you've mentioned that it changes each year. And obviously this year, we know that everything has changed in the world because of COVID. So that's obviously bled into a little bit why these changes have been made. But saying it changes every year tells us that this isn't the first year that it's running. So how long has the British Masters Championships been running?
I had to think then. I'm so used to giving the teams answers. So the Masters has been running, we our third year. So we've done 1 year at CrossFit Connect, an in-person competition that was in 2019, and then last year was online 2020, and then this year will be back to in-person with the online qualifiers because they went quite well last year. And yeah, it makes the qualifying process a little bit more interesting. You have to fight for that spot at the finals, keeps our numbers down at the finals, and yeah, it's going to be in Southampton this year.
Amazing. So I guess, an obvious question is going to be, why did you decide to start this competition in the first place? So what inspired you to, because it's a lot of work to put on an event. So why did you feel that, this was worth it? This is where we wanted to invest our time.
I ask myself for that question a lot. When I get to some points, I'm just like, oh, why am I doing this? Someone remind me. So basically we ran a teams competition and we've run that for 6 years. And so a couple of years ago, we realized that what we were doing for teens, we would like to put on for masters, basically because we feel that there was not what we wanted out there in masters competitions. Don't get me wrong, there are a couple of actually really brilliant masters competitions, but we felt there was like a gap for another one. Just to give masters more of an option, I think the passion behind the story could come from Mandy.
Well, originally, yeah, obviously I'm a very competitive person, have been all my life. That's hence where my daughter gets it from. And my little gym also has a very high number of masters athletes, and we're always looking to go away to competitions. And one of my best moments is going to a competition called Raising the Bar, and I met 5 ladies there, and I've stayed in contact with those 5 ladies ever since, and we always encourage each other and so on and so forth. So it's just such a fantastic amount of lovely people gathering together, but we seem to have been forgotten. We want to compete as well. We're still here. So it was important to me to give them another platform to show themselves. And so, I managed to talk Emma into including it. Bit of a headache, but we're there now, and it's gone very, very well. But each year when we program all the events for them to take part in, it's a progressive program. So to start with, we're very careful with what we give them. We want to see what we've got. And then each year we try to push them in a different direction as well. And we try to encourage them to get better at their sport. So that's the whole idea, really, is just to keep them focused, give them something to do, and just to enjoy themselves a little bit.
It's nice because I mean, and I'm guessing here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but what I like from what you've said is it, it is another platform, but also the platform. Well, let's see how many people I angle with this. The platform that masters usually get is the platform that's sort of a little bit over to the side, right? And it's usually like, here's a competition. This is what the best of the best are doing, and if we've got space, okay, we'll put a little bit over here and the masters can have a go over there. And maybe we'll put a little bit over here and the kids can have a go. And it's not that the spotlight is directly on them. It's like, look, this is a competition for you. And because of that, what you're saying about seeing who we've got and pushing them and developing them and helping them to improve, that kind of falls by the wayside, because really what you get is a scaled version of what the programming that we've done for the tip top athletes that we've got there, and we're just going to scale that to fit to the masters category. So having a competition that is designed for them, you are the focus, that's going to give you all those avenues to really play with on, well, how can we push them, not break them, break them a little bit, but not break them too much, but just push them to work that little bit harder to improve. I think that's great. And as you said, that kind of, there's nothing worse than feeling like you've been forgotten or ignored. So again, having that big spotlight just shining on the masters, and I guess the masters is a category that just by default keeps growing, right? Because guess what, we all get older.
There's not many things that you are looking forward to, and one of the things that we all look forward to as masters is moving up to the next age group, getting into, like, I'm 57. So now I'm in the middle of my age group. So I'm now can't wait. I'm working hard to get to my first year in the 60s. So
big 60.
Yeah. So, but I can't wait, and I think this is what's important. I'm looking forward to still competing at 60. And what a great thing that is, keeping people fit at that age. I mean, it's just fantastic. And also, like, when we think about COVID last year, all the people, so many of the masters that I know have been unaffected by the COVID because they keep themselves so fit and well, so yeah, we've just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah, I suppose when you think of, like, we've spoken in the past about the teens competition, for example, and the mentality you approach that is, well, I'm improving so that when I hit that kind of the age of the I'm not really sure what we call it, like the standard age of, I'm out of the teens, I'm into just the men's division or the women's division. You kind of had that progression. It's something to look forward to, of being like, oh yeah, now I'm going to really get to compete at that top level. And then with the masters, it's a different focus, isn't it? Because it's much more, I want to be able to compete and throw down, but I also want to be able to live and
Exactly.
function well as an individual. And here's an opportunity for me to kind of show off a little bit that, I'm a bit older than you, but look what I can do. And I think that's got to be a great feeling when you can look at people younger than you, but know you can outlift them, you can outmove them. It's
put their butts, as we say.
And I suppose you're absolutely reversing that idea. There's normally that, like, oh, you hit the big 6-0, oh, devastated, oh, I'm so sad, I'm getting older. Whereas because you're competing in divisions, you're like, oh yes, now I've got a couple of years where I'm one of the youngest in my division.
Yeah.
Well, Mum was saying to me the other day, she's got 2 years of deload now. She's got 2 years to recover, and she picks it up for the 60.
So here's a question that I hesitate to ask, and Emma, you know why I'm going to hesitate to ask this question, but what are the age categories then that the masters fall into for this competition?
Well, that's a really nice link, actually, just talking around that 60-year category that Mum was talking about, is that we got a lot of feedback from masters last year that 55 plus, or 55 to 59 and 60 plus just isn't enough. That top end just needs to be separated. So we take the same as the CrossFit Games. So what happens in the Open, so from 35 up, 5-year categories, but we actually go all the way to a 60 to 64 and then a 65 plus. So we've actually branched out and gone to that extra category from requests from our previous competitors. And also, you'll be really pleased to hear this, Jason.
Will I?
I know you'll be so excited. There's actually a 30 to 34 division. So the reason for this comes from us doing this online qualifier last year, and I was coaching at Shapesmiths, and the majority of our members are 30 to 34. So I had so many people that wanted to get involved, but were like, oh, I'm 2 years away from being entered, and oh, a year away. So now I'm like, right, if you said that to me last year, here is your age category just for you. So that 30 to 34, I'm hoping is going to be just as competitive as that 35 to 39, which is normally the most competitive or highest amount of entries. I think that 30 to 34, I think there is a need for it. I'm in that category and I feel like I can't compete with anyone in that open division anymore. And I don't want to wait till I'm 35. It's, too far away, ages away. So, yeah, we've got a lot of categories. And on that note, like, we'd love to see them filling up. So like if you're in that 30 to 34 category, if you're in one of the other categories, like get your friends involved, like get a group of you and just be like, right, let's see if we can smash this 65 plus category, because there's RX and scaled for each category. So we have a lot of categories, which requires a lot of admin and a lot of stress on my behalf. And at this point, I'm just going to do a big thank you to Rich and Angie, who helped me and Mum out behind the scenes. And Rich in particular confers with all the masters and their lovely questions so that I don't have to.
I imagine, because you both run the teens competition as well, but I feel that the experience that age brings means when you are thinking about doing this competition or something like that, you have a lot more questions. You've got more specific questions as well, where I feel like a teen is more likely to just go, yeah, okay, let's do this. Whereas as a master, well, I've been around the block a few times. I think I know the questions I need to ask to really understand if this is for me. So I get that there's more admin on that side of things. I'm just digesting what you said. So I'm thinking I need to do Mandy's strategy, because I'm just a year out from hitting the 35 division. So I could look at this as like a deload year. It
could be good for competition experience.
But then you've also said
this year
that the 35 to 39 is the most competitive division, and that scares me. So who knows?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah,
We've seen great athletes.
I do it, but I've self-appointed myself onto the media team, so
right.
I'm kind of going to be busy. What a shame! But if someone is not like me and they do want to get involved, what are the steps? What do they need to do then if they want to be involved this year for the Masters competition?
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just looking at my what to expect and frequently asked questions. I want to make sure I cover this all off for the Masters. So if they want to enter, head over to Competition Corner, and you've got until the weekend of the 25th of June to enter. So that's the weekend of the online qualifiers, 25th to the 28th of June. So sign up on Competition Corner. Once you've signed up, you get to see who's on your leaderboard with you. When you go on Competition Corner, you scroll down, you find your age category. So Jason, you'll go to the RX 30 to 34 male. You click on that, and what happens is your list of equipment requirements comes up. So list of equipment requirements and movement standards that we're going to expect from you. It's not an 80 kilo snatch, don't worry. So what you can also do is scroll down to the scaled 30 to 34, have a little look at what's expected of you there, and then you can make a good well judged opinion on which category to enter. But also, you don't have to decide. So you can enter RX. You'd be like, yeah, I feel good, I'm going to enter RX. And then it gets towards the end of June, we start releasing some of the workouts, and you're like, oh no, I can't do RX anymore. You can change to scaled. It's a really easy switch. You can do it anytime up until the end of that weekend. Okay. I'm just going to cover off a couple of other things. the workouts will be released on that Friday the 25th. It'll be like the games. You have one weekend to do your 4 workouts. So you've got until the Monday night. Don't have to be done in any particular order. You can do it any order you like. If you've got a wedding on the Sunday, you can do them all on the Friday and the Saturday. I have had that question. So there you go. And I think that is all of my questions that I've had.
Okay. Can you do them at the wedding?
Yeah, you get extra bonus points.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. So that, I think that's nice because, you know, I guess we all have that idea of, you know, probably I reckon I can probably hit it RX, and then you see the workout and you're like, who was I kidding? That's not me. So that having that ability, you know, you've not wasted your opportunity.
No, though, on the workouts, we do want to try and encourage as many people as possible to do the workouts. So the workouts are designed to try and get you as far as possible, you know, so we really try and do that. We don't want you to look at the workout and go, I can't even start that. Most people will be able to start the workouts. So.
And following on from what Mum's saying there, last year actually we had a few athletes that were like, oh, these workouts are too hard, I can't do it RX, I want to change to scaled. And then actually over the weekend they gave them a go RX and could do them.
Yeah.
So I think it's a lot of that fear factor, like, oh, I see a pull-up, I can't do a pull-up, no, I don't want to do that. And then actually give it a go and you're like, oh, it's fine. So it's basically, don't worry.
And I guess that goes back to, because I know, Mandy, I believe you're designing the workouts. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah. And I suppose it goes back to that point I made earlier that like the open workouts, for example, for the masters are kind of reverse designed, right? They've designed a workout for the men's division, and then they've taken that and said, well, how can we adapt that to fit it to the masters so that they can have a go? Whereas you're approaching it in the other way of saying, right, how can I design a workout that's going to be good for the masters, that's going to allow them to use what's an RX skill for them, but it's going to be challenging. And I guess that's where, again, that idea of, you know, I'm not going to win, so why do I bother? Well, exactly. You might not win, but you're going to benefit, right, from signing up and having a go, even if you're not going to win the competition.
Also, we've had a lot of feedback that, you know, people say that they were worried about doing the standards that we gave them, but they gave them a go and they realised that, yes, they could actually do it. And then we will retest you on it. And then a year later, all of a sudden, they can do this movement. So now we're just going to push you that little bit more. What more can you do? You know, so that's what we want. We want to just build our athletes over the years. And we have seen such a massive difference in our athletes. Incredible. And we've had the teams athletes actually representing us at the games. So, you know, so we've had some really good, inspiring stories. It's been fantastic.
What's the community like then among the, because I have an idea in mind.
It's crazy. It's absolutely fantastic. The atmosphere, like I said, when I went to my own little competitions, everybody there, doesn't matter who you are, I'd never been to a CrossFit competition before, and they come and they gather around you and they lead you through the competition and they're cheering for you. And even if you beat them, they're still cheering for you, you know, and they're giving you a pat on the back and all that sort of stuff. But the atmosphere at the Masters at Connect a couple of years ago was just incredible. I mean, most people, as soon as you finished, they leave. Nobody left. Everybody was there until the last minute. The atmosphere was incredible. So, and I was so very, very proud. I shall get all emotional now.
Oh, God.
So very, very proud of some of the things that some of these people pulled out. It was incredible. You know, like Emma was saying about ladies of 60 plus, 65 plus, have never done a pull-up before. All of a sudden we're doing pull-ups. All of a sudden we're doing chest bar pull-ups. I was in tears. It was fantastic.
But to be honest, we were in tears at some point each year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess it's, again, focusing in that community. Is it like, you do the open,
Yeah.
and we talk of it as being something for the community, and it brings the community together, and it's this global community, but it's still quite disconnected, even though you're all doing the same workout. Like, yes, you're all on the leaderboard together, and you can maybe send messages, and encourage one another, but it's quite different, isn't it, when you're at an event like this that has been designed for you, for your part of the community, because there's kind of the community as a whole, and then there's basically the different categories we're in kind of subdivides the community to a degree. So being like, well, this is a little bit just to strengthen and build your community, so you've got now all these contacts that are doing the same thing as you, and you're all kind of pushing one another. So that's like I guess it's a unique thing within kind of the CrossFit sphere anyway, but then this gets super niche and really specific for your little avenue of the community. So that's got to be encouraging. I did have a question then, because obviously we think of changing age categories because we generally age into the next category. And so it's somebody who's like, well, I've been doing CrossFit now for 10 years and I'm in this category. But within the last few years, we've seen a huge influx of masters starting CrossFit, right? Joining up at their local box, because there's been that stronger emphasis on CrossFit for health, as opposed to kind of maybe in the past where people just viewed it as the games. So do you have many then that are coming to their first competitions, and they've never done a competition before, and they're already in the, 55 plus category, but like this is their first time to do a competition? Is this something for them, or is this just for those that have kind of aged into the categories and have been doing CrossFit for a long time?
This is absolutely for them, without a doubt. If they've been doing CrossFit for some sort of time, and they understand the movements, because like anything else, they start at scaled and then we move on. So it's a gradual process, but we've had lots of people that have only been doing CrossFit for a short amount of time in all the age groups across the board. So it is a competition for everybody.
Excellent. So literally the only barrier to entry is your birth certificate and whether or not you fit into that age category.
Shorter and shorter and shorter each year.
Yeah.
On that note,
more and more admin each year.
Yeah, it is Age on Day 12th of September, so our finals date.
Okay, that is actually an important thing to note, probably for some. Wonderful. Okay, so what I always like to kind of ask at the end is, like, we've sort of covered it, but do you have anything that you would include in that final sales pitch? If there's anybody that's listening to this, and if they're in the master category, maybe they got the children to put it on for them so they could watch it on the YouTube. Let's get a little dig in there. And that's only the 35-year-olds. If you want to just pitch it to them as like they're a bit on the fence, saying, "Oh, I don't know, is it for me? I'm not that competitive. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this." What is going to be the thing that puts them over the edge, that says, "Yeah, you know what? I am going to sign up. I'm going to give this a go."
I think rewind back to Mum's speech earlier about why we put this competition on and the passion we have behind it. And we're coming from masters athletes background, so our experience in it and what we want to provide, basically a weekend of fun and networking with people of similar, passions and motivations as you. I just have to say, like, the work that goes on behind the scenes with regards to like the different age groups, and then the RX and the scaled. So from those age groups, they're not all different, but from like 50 plus, it all starts changing year on year. And then you've got scaled and you've got RX, and it's the work that goes into it. And mums have been so detailed, and like every weight change between categories and things like that. We've really, really tried hard to get it right. And when we do get it wrong, like last year, we've listened to that feedback, and we are trying to do even better this year. So, we love what we do, and we hope that you enter and have a really fun competition.
When you're explaining the number of different categories and the RX and the scale, I am getting a headache just imagining the admin going into this, let alone actually having to do it. So if anybody is watching this and they're thinking, but look at me, I'm not a Masters I'm not an athlete in any way, you know, I'm not sure this is for me. Well, stick around on the channel, subscribe, because we're going to be releasing a series of videos where we're going to have some one-on-one interviews with these Masters athletes, and you'll see that they're just as human as you and me, and perhaps that will give you a little bit more motivation to sign up, to get involved, and just to have fun by the sounds of things. Brilliant. Well, thank you again, Emma and Mandy, and we look forward to seeing everyone on the competition floor.